Have you ever pondered whether globe-trotting in your later years is truly a judicious idea? While exploring novel locales and immersing oneself in diverse customs can be exhilarating, there are considerable perils that many older adults fail to contemplate until they are squarely confronted with them. As we advance in age, our physical and mental faculties undergo transformations that can render journeys more enervating, unforeseeable, and even perilous. Although some individuals presume they can maintain the same tempo they enjoyed in their younger days, the stark truth is that after the age of 70, travel introduces distinctive obstacles that can transmute a dream holiday into a taxing, even life-threatening ordeal. In this captivating presentation, we are going to reveal 5 crucial reasons why venturing abroad after 70 can be fraught with danger, ranging from unforeseen medical emergencies to the concealed financial traps that can deplete your accumulated wealth. Each segment will illuminate the difficulties older adults encounter when they embark on journeys. By the conclusion of this video, you will possess a lucid comprehension of why traversing the globe at this phase of life necessitates heightened prudence and what measures you can implement to remain secure if you still opt to undertake an expedition. Remain with me until the very end, because the ultimate point on our roster is one that numerous older individuals never even consider, yet it represents one of the most prevalent ways people forfeit their money, precious time, and inner tranquility while journeying. If you're watching this video, comment traveling to show your enthusiasm for these vital revelations. Let's commence with the paramount consideration. 1. Elevated health vulnerabilities and urgent medical situations. One of the most significant apprehensions when venturing out after 70 is the amplified susceptibility to sudden health complications. As we mature, our physiological systems become more unpredictable, and ailments such as cardiac disease, hypertension, and pulmonary conditions can escalate into crises when we least anticipate them. While at home, readily accessing medical assistance is straightforward, but when you are traveling, particularly in an unfamiliar region or a foreign land, obtaining appropriate treatment can become considerably more intricate. A minor health issue that could have been effortlessly managed domestically can swiftly transform into a grave, even life-threatening, predicament when you are far removed from your habitual physician. For many older adults, the prospect of a medical emergency is not merely theoretical. It is a very tangible reality. Extended flights can augment the propensity for blood clots, also known as deep vein thrombosis. Elevated altitudes can impose strain on the heart and lungs, particularly for those with pre-existing medical conditions. And even something as seemingly innocuous as dehydration or heat stroke can exert a far more severe impact in an unfamiliar climate. Older individuals are also more susceptible to infections, implying that exposure to novel microorganisms and viruses in different locales can precipitate unanticipated illnesses. Consider the narrative of Robert, a 74-year-old gentleman who had always cherished traveling. He meticulously planned a 2-week maritime voyage with his spouse, envisioning it as a serene means to explore new territories without excessive physical exertion. However, on the 4th day of their journey, he began experiencing acute chest discomfort. The ship's medical personnel administered rudimentary care, but he urgently required hospitalization. Since they were adrift in the expansive ocean, he was compelled to await an emergency evacuation to the nearest port, thereby delaying crucial treatment by several hours. Fortuitously, he recovered, but the experience left him deeply perturbed. What was intended to be a dream vacation transformed into a terrifying ordeal, one that he later confessed could have been averted had he more assiduously contemplated the inherent hazards. Comment health precautions if you understand the critical importance of foresight when it comes to travel and health. Medical coverage represents another paramount issue. Many older individuals mistakenly assume that their customary health insurance will provide universal coverage, only to discover too late that they are not safeguarded for medical treatment in a foreign country. Without appropriate travel insurance, hospital visits, emergency surgical procedures, and even fundamental medications can result in colossal out-of-pocket expenditures. Some older adults end up dispersing thousands of dollars simply to procure the necessary care while overseas. So, what proactive measures can be undertaken if you are over 70 and contemplating a journey? Prior to your trip, ensure you consult with your physician. Undergo a comprehensive health evaluation, deliberate upon any potential risks, and confirm you possess all indispensable medications. Always meticulously research the healthcare infrastructure at your intended destination. And if traveling internationally, guarantee you have an all-encompassing travel insurance policy that provides coverage for emergency evacuations and inpatient care. Because when it pertains to one's well-being, being adequately prepared can spell the difference between a smooth expedition and an unforeseen calamity. Maintaining robust health is one of the most pivotal facets of relishing life after 70. But while medical dangers are a substantial concern, they are not the sole reason travel can be perilous. Comment staying well if you prioritize your health above all else when planning a trip. 2. Amplified exposure to pathogens and contaminants. One of the most frequently overlooked hazards of traveling after 70 is the heightened vulnerability to germs, viruses, and foodborne ailments. Congested airports, densely packed aircraft, public transit systems, and unfamiliar eateries all cultivate an environment where bacteria and viruses flourish. For younger travelers, a minor cold or an upset stomach might constitute a transient inconvenience, but for older adults, these infections can precipitate severe complications, hospitalizations, or even protracted health setbacks. A single journey can expose an older individual to more illnesses than they would typically encounter in months at home, and in certain instances, the immune system simply lacks the robustness to repel them. As we age, our immune response naturally attenuates, rendering it more challenging to recuperate from infections. Respiratory illnesses, in particular, pose a considerable risk to older adults. Research indicates that older individuals are more prone to developing complications from influenza, pneumonia, and even common colds, especially when exposed to novel strains in various global regions. Aircraft, in particular, serve as fertile breeding grounds for pathogens. Passengers are frequently seated in close proximity, inhaling recirculated air for prolonged durations, and given that individuals from every corner of the globe traverse airports daily, it is effortless to encounter viruses to which your body has never been exposed. Comment immune defense if you are mindful of protecting your immune system while traveling. Then there is the matter of food and water safety. Many travelers are eager to sample new culinary delights in different nations, but for older adults, unfamiliar components, seasonings, and cooking methodologies can lead to digestive distress. Foodborne illnesses such as norovirus, E. coli, and salmonella can affect older adults with far greater severity, resulting in prolonged illness, dehydration, and a considerably compromised immune system. And while local inhabitants may have cultivated immunity to specific bacteria in their water supply, travelers often lack the same protection. Something as seemingly simple as consuming tap water or partaking in a salad rinsed in local water can trigger serious gastric infections. Public lavatories, hotel accommodations, and rental vehicles are additional locations where germs can persist. Many individuals assume that because a place appears clean, it is safe, but surfaces like doorknobs, seat belts, and tray tables are seldom disinfected as thoroughly as they ought to be. Older adults who rely on mobility aids, such as canes or walkers, are at an even greater risk, given that they frequently touch public surfaces for stability. So, how can older adults safeguard themselves if travel is unavoidable? Implementing extra precautions is essential. Donning a face covering in crowded areas, frequently cleansing hands, and carrying hand sanitizer can help mitigate the risk of acquiring deleterious microorganisms. Consuming only bottled or purified water, eschewing uncooked foods in unfamiliar places, and adhering to thoroughly cooked meals can aid in preventing foodborne illnesses. And for those journeying internationally, obtaining recommended vaccinations and carrying essential medications for gastrointestinal issues or respiratory infections is an absolute imperative. Staying healthy while traveling is achievable, but it demands vigilance, preparedness, and a robust immune system. However, health risks are not the sole concern. There is one more reason why traveling after 70 can be more of an encumbrance than a source of joy, and it is something that can impact not only your health, but also your financial stability and peace of mind. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I highly recommend you subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our insightful videos. Your unwavering support empowers us to continue generating high-quality content to enlighten and motivate you. Now, let's proceed. 3. Travel weariness and recuperation difficulties. Traveling may appear exhilarating, but for older adults exceeding 70, the physical toll can be far more substantial than anticipated. Protracted flights, early check-ins, erratic timetables, and hours of ambulation can culminate in exhaustion that is arduous to overcome. Unlike in younger years, where a refreshing night's sleep could invigorate the body, older adults frequently discover that fatigue lingers for days or even weeks after a journey, and when the body is enervated, every other aspect suffers. Immune function diminishes, coordination deteriorates, and the propensity for illness or injury escalates dramatically. One of the most pervasive challenges older adults encounter while traveling is disrupted sleep patterns. Slumbering in an unfamiliar bed, contending with noisy hotels, or adjusting to disparate time zones can render obtaining adequate rest nearly impossible. Sleep deprivation is not merely about feeling weary. It impairs cognitive acuity, compromises the immune system, and even amplifies the risk of cardiac complications. Studies have demonstrated that older individuals who traverse multiple time zones often require a longer period to acclimate, meaning jet lag can persist far longer than expected. This lingering exhaustion can transform an otherwise pleasurable trip into a dreadful experience, leaving travelers drained instead of revitalized. Comment, rest well, if you prioritize adequate rest when you travel. Then there is the matter of physical exertion. Remaining seated for extended periods on an aircraft, bus, or train can lead to stiff muscles, swollen joints, and an elevated risk of blood clots. For older adults afflicted with arthritis or circulatory problems, prolonged travel durations can induce discomfort that persists long after the journey concludes. And even once you reach your destination, the physical demands of sightseeing, transporting luggage, and keeping pace with scheduled activities can swiftly become overwhelming. What commences as an exciting holiday can rapidly transmute into a struggle simply to keep up. Consider the instance of Walter, a 75-year-old gentleman who had always harbored a profound affection for traveling. Following his retirement, he and his wife meticulously planned a 2-week overseas vacation, presuming it would be as enjoyable as their expeditions in earlier years. However, after a 10-hour flight, navigating a crowded airport, and adjusting to a 6-hour time disparity, Walter felt utterly depleted even before the trip had truly commenced. By the second day, he experienced difficulty walking long distances, struggled to remain alert during guided tours, and found himself necessitating frequent pauses. By the time he finally acclimatized, it was almost time to return home, and he subsequently spent the ensuing weeks recuperating from the journey instead of cherishing his memories. Another formidable challenge older adults face is maintaining their customary dietary habits and hydration levels. Many destinations feature unfamiliar foodstuffs that can trigger digestive issues, and remaining adequately hydrated while in transit is often overlooked. Dehydration alone can lead to fatigue, lightheadedness, and mental confusion, rendering even simple activities feel like an arduous struggle. When combined with insufficient sleep and physical strain, it becomes abundantly clear why many older adults feel worse after a trip rather than refreshed. Comment, hydration matters if you make a conscious effort to stay hydrated while on the go. So, what is the optimal solution? If travel is absolutely unavoidable, older adults should meticulously plan for ample rest days, prioritize hydration, and abstain from overfilling their itinerary with back-to-back activities. Opting for shorter flights with layovers to allow for movement, packing nourishing snacks, and allocating time for brief naps can also help mitigate exhaustion. But most crucially, acknowledging personal limitations and adjusting travel plans accordingly is paramount, because a vacation should be a source of enjoyment, not something that necessitates weeks of recovery. The physical demands of travel constitute a serious concern for older adults, but it is not the sole concealed danger. 4. Heightened risk of falls and injuries. One of the most substantial perils of traveling after 70 is the amplified likelihood of falls and injuries. As we age, our equilibrium, reflexes, and bone density naturally diminish, rendering us more susceptible to mishaps. While a minor stumble within your own residence might not seem like a significant issue, a fall while traveling, particularly in an unfamiliar location, can lead to fractured bones, prolonged hospitalizations, or even permanent mobility impairments. The undeniable reality is that a single fall can irrevocably alter the trajectory of an older individual's life, transforming what was intended to be a tranquil excursion into a painful and financially burdensome ordeal. Many older adults fail to comprehend just how disparate travel environments can be from their accustomed surroundings. Hotels, cruise vessels, and historical landmarks frequently feature uneven surfaces, inadequately illuminated stairwells, or slippery floors that heighten the probability of falling. Some destinations offer minimal to no accessibility accommodations, meaning straightforward activities like boarding a bus or traversing cobblestone streets can become unforeseen hazards. And in numerous places, emergency medical services are not as expeditious or advanced as they are back home, implying that even a minor injury can take longer to receive treatment, thereby increasing the risk of complications. Comment safety first if you prioritize safety precautions when traveling. Consider the predicament of Martha, a 78-year-old woman who had always harbored a fervent desire to visit Europe. She was in remarkable physical condition for her age and regularly engaged in brisk walks within her neighborhood without any impediments. However, upon her arrival in Italy and commencing the navigation of the steep, uneven thoroughfares, she swiftly realized it was not as facile as she had envisioned. One evening, as she stepped off a curb in a dimly lit alley, she lost her footing and fell abruptly, sustaining a hip fracture. She was promptly transported to a local hospital where medical professionals informed her that she required surgical intervention. Not only was she compelled to curtail her trip prematurely, but she also endured months of recuperation upon her return home. What was supposed to be the journey of a lifetime transmuted into an experience she earnestly wished she had never undertaken. Another significant contributing factor is fatigue. Traveling often entails protracted days, irregular meal schedules, and disrupted sleep patterns, all of which can adversely affect balance and coordination. When the body is fatigued, reaction times decelerate, rendering a misstep or stumble more probable. And for older adults contending with arthritis or joint pain, extended walks through airports, railway stations, or tourist attractions can induce swelling and discomfort, thereby increasing the risk of a sudden loss of stability. So, how can older adults mitigate the risk if travel is indispensable? Opting for destinations with commendable accessibility, avoiding high-risk areas characterized by uneven terrain, and consistently utilizing appropriate footwear can be beneficial. Walking sticks, supportive footwear, and ensuring adequate rest can also make a substantial difference. And above all, acknowledging personal limitations is paramount, because no journey is worth jeopardizing your long-term mobility and independence. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I strongly advise you to subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our informative videos. Your continued support assists us in consistently creating valuable content to educate and inspire you. 5. Travel coverage and financial exposure. One of the most unforeseen perils of journeying after 70 is not solely about physical health. It pertains to the monetary dangers that accompany it. Many older individuals mistakenly assume that if they encounter a predicament while traveling, they can simply depend on their insurance or personal savings. However, the actuality is that travel-related medical emergencies, trip cancellations, and even sophisticated financial deceptions can deplete an individual's bank account far more rapidly than they realize. For numerous older adults, a singular unforeseen occurrence can transform a meticulously planned excursion into a fiscal nightmare, leaving them burdened with overwhelming expenditures and profound stress. Comment: financial safety if you prioritize safeguarding your finances while traveling. One of the most substantial financial vulnerabilities is overseas medical care. Many older adults fail to comprehend that their standard health insurance frequently does not extend coverage for treatment in foreign nations. This implies that if you become unwell or sustain an injury while traveling, you could be liable for thousands of dollars in medical invoices. Even in countries where healthcare is ostensibly more affordable, emergency medical evacuations, such as being airlifted to a suitable hospital, can incur costs amounting to tens of thousands of dollars. Without the appropriate travel insurance, older individuals could find themselves in a precarious situation where they either settle an enormous bill out of pocket or forego the essential care they require. Then there is the vexing issue of trip cancellations. Many older individuals book their journeys months in advance, presuming they will be in robust health when the appointed time arrives. However, life is inherently unpredictable. Health conditions can emerge abruptly, necessitating a trip's postponement or complete cancellation. Regrettably, numerous airlines, hotel establishments, and cruise operators adhere to stringent policies that do not permit refunds for last-minute cancellations, meaning older individuals can forfeit thousands of dollars if they are compelled to alter their plans. Without comprehensive trip insurance, recouping that money can be virtually impossible. Beyond medical expenses and cancellations, there exists another grave financial risk: scams and fraudulent activities. Older individuals are frequently targeted by unscrupulous individuals who prey on travelers, employing tactics such as counterfeit taxi services, overcharging for commonplace goods, or even elaborate schemes meticulously designed to pilfer credit card information. Many con artists specifically seek out older adults who appear unacquainted with their surroundings, cognizant that they are less likely to perceive a scam unfolding in real time. And in certain instances, criminals exploit older individuals by offering deceitful vacation packages that prove to be nothing more than an exorbitant trap. Consider the predicament of Stanley, a 76-year-old gentleman who had always been exceptionally meticulous with his pecuniary resources. He meticulously booked a dream vacation to a picturesque tropical island, ensuring he had assiduously saved for every single aspect of the journey. However, upon his arrival, he tragically discovered that the hotel he had reserved simply did not exist. He had fallen victim to an online deception, and by the time he ascertained the truth, his money had vanished without a trace. With nowhere to seek accommodation, he was compelled to scramble to locate another hotel, paying double what he had originally budgeted simply to secure a place to rest. What should have been a tranquil and rejuvenating trip transformed into a stressful financial quagmire that relentlessly pursued him even upon his return home. So, how can older individuals safeguard themselves? Firstly, always verify whether your health insurance extends coverage for international travel, and if it does not, make a judicious investment in a robust travel insurance plan that encompasses medical emergencies and trip cancellations. Secondly, when making travel reservations, exclusively utilize reputable companies and scrupulously avoid deals that appear implausibly good to be true. And thirdly, exercise extraordinary caution with your funds while traveling. Eschew carrying substantial quantities of cash, remain acutely aware of who has access to your credit card information, and never, under any circumstances, divulge personal financial details to strangers. While travel can undoubtedly be exhilarating, these financial risks unequivocally demonstrate that after 70, heightened prudence is indispensable. The unforeseen expenses, the potential for monetary losses due to deceptive practices, and the sheer unpredictability of health crises render travel a gamble that not every older individual is adequately prepared to undertake. But does this imply that you should never embark on another journey? Not necessarily. Concluding thoughts. Navigating the golden years of travel. We have just thoroughly explored 5 significant considerations illuminating why traversing the globe after 70 is associated with considerable perils, risks that numerous older individuals fail to contemplate until they are confronted with them directly. From unanticipated medical emergencies to injuries, debilitating exhaustion, pervasive infections, and debilitating financial pitfalls, each of these formidable challenges possesses the capacity to transform what should be a serene holiday into an overwhelming, even perilous, experience. While travel may appear to be an exhilarating avenue to spend one's retirement years, the stark truth is that after a certain age, it necessitates a far greater degree of meticulous planning, unwavering caution, and profound awareness than it did in one's younger days. However, does this unequivocally mean that older individuals should entirely abandon the notion of travel? Absolutely not. It merely signifies that for those beyond 70, the approach they adopt towards travel must undergo a significant metamorphosis. Instead of undertaking exhausting long-haul flights, enduring stressful tours, and venturing into precarious destinations, it may be more prudent to select closer, safer alternatives that do not impose as much strain on the body. Exploring local attractions, embarking on shorter excursions, or prioritizing destinations that provide effortless access to comprehensive medical care can make an immense difference in both safety and overall enjoyment. Travel should unequivocally enhance one's life, not engender novel problems that persist long after the journey has concluded. Comment "Smart Travel" if you believe in making informed travel choices. If you or a beloved family member is contemplating travel after 70, take a moment to genuinely ponder the potential challenges. Is your health sufficiently stable to comfortably handle the rigors of the trip? Do you possess the appropriate travel insurance to safeguard against unforeseen financial risks? Have you selected a destination that is demonstrably safe and readily accessible for your unique needs? These inquiries may not seem particularly exciting to pose, but providing honest answers could unequivocally avert unnecessary stress and hardship down the road. Ultimately, longevity is not merely about accumulating more years in one's life. It is profoundly about ensuring that those years are lived with an abundance of quality, unwavering independence, and profound peace of mind. If sidestepping unnecessary travel translates into maintaining superior health and enhanced safety, then it is undeniably worth thoroughly reconsidering the risks before booking that next flight. Thank you for joining us today. We are genuinely eager to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and thoughtfully share one crucial insight you gleaned today and how you intend to apply it in your life. Your perspectives are immensely valuable to us, so please do not hesitate to share them. Reading your insightful comments provides us with tremendous motivation and encouragement to continue our mission. If you thoroughly enjoyed this video and found it genuinely helpful, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with others. Your invaluable support empowers us to consistently create high-quality content designed to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we eagerly anticipate seeing you in our next captivating video. Before you go, be sure to explore our other fascinating content right here on the channel. There's so much more to discover that you won't want to miss.